Bobby Brown, the Bobby Brown, okay, was on Club Shay Shay this week. Well, it was probably not this week, but you know what I mean. He was on Club Shay Shay and he had some thoughts. And you know, whenever they go on Club Shay Shay, they just tell everything that they think, all of their intrusive thoughts, all of the quiet parts get said out loud.
Yep.
And Bobby Brown went on there and was like, y'all been remaking my music and I hate it.
None of it is good.
None of it is good. Especially not you, Britney Spears. That is that is me paraphrasing. I summed that up, but I think I summed that up pretty well. If you
Don't worry, we got the audio.
yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Try to sample it before I hear what they're acting. When someone comes to you and wants to sample your music, talking to LL says, I don't let anybody sample it before I hear what they're actually putting on my over my track. So when someone comes to Bobby and says, hey, Mr. Brown, we really would like to sample this song, do you need to hear it or do you just
Yes, I gotta hear it. Gotta hear it.
You gonna put the bull job on the
You don't know what these kids will say these days. You know, these kids will say something that, you know, you don't want your song
associated with.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got to listen to it.
Who do you believe sampled one of your songs the best?
I don't think they did justice.
Okay.
I don't
Nobody.
think they did justice to any of the samples that they have done to my songs. Like
Nobody.
Britney Spears butchered. She butchered Prerogative. Teddy Riley produced it, but that was a butchering that, you know, I couldn't take it.
I couldn't take it.
I cleared it only because it was Britney Spears, and I was thinking
she gonna do it right. She gonna do it good. Yeah.
Nice. Teddy Riley's doing it too.
Yeah.
So, you know. But I felt it was a butchering.
He got a lot of nerve to be like, I approved it, but actually didn't like it. I thought it was hell. What?
Right.
Bobby, then why did you approve it? You could have just
Because he wanted that check.
Exactly.
That's just because he wanted that. He wanted that Britney Spears check.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said without saying it.
Right.
It was Britney Spears. Bobby. This was funny. We hear a lot of artists, older artists, talk about how they hate when people sample their music because they feel like the music doesn't get the justice it deserves. That is a thing. Okay, we've heard Roberta Flack say it. Rest in peace.
Shaka.
We've heard Shaka say it. I mean, it's usually the ladies, to be honest. I'm not even gonna lie. It's usually the older ladies that are like, y'all little niggas gotta stop taking my music, okay? Because I sang it the way it was supposed to be sung. I made the song the way the song was supposed to be made. And then y'all come over here and don't let them do covers. Oh my gosh, they hate the covers. They think all of y'all are just terrible.
Shaka said, can't none of y'all sing my songs. Not Mary, not Beyonce, none of y'all. Shaka Khan said that, not JD. Don't get mad at me.
No, she did say that, and people were mad. But also, do you think, especially since you're an artist, do you think that is fair game for that critique? When people do this, when people sample music or they cover music or remake, do you think that these artists are being too sensitive about their original work, or do you think that it's completely valid that they'd have these perspectives? Because it almost seems like it does come across with certain artists as, I just don't want anybody singing my using my music.
Well, number one, artists are sensitive about their shit, right?
Yes, of course.
Number two, um, I think you're allowed to critique, but I also think you should still give clearance. Unless it's an extreme case, right? If someone is saying something absolutely egregious, something you stand on the complete opposite side of, right? If I make a song and the song is called Free R. Kelly and Bobby Brown is completely against that, then I can understand that. If he's not, then I don't understand the beef with letting people sample, because you created this thing. You were often inspired by something to create this piece of art. Allow others to be inspired by and use your art. That's my opinion.
You're
I'm
also
not
not
saying you
against
should.
making money off of it, clearly. And that's
Well, and that's where I was going to go next, right? I'm not saying that sampling should be free. You should be paid accordingly. And you usually are, because this happens by big companies, right? So it's a little different than if Joe Schmo calls Bobby Brown. But Joe Schmo wouldn't even be able to get in touch with Bobby Brown. But if Joe Schmo somehow gets in touch with Bobby Brown and asks for clearance, it's going to be little to no money, probably.
yeah.
Excuse me. It's going to be little to no money, probably. And so that I can understand. But we're talking about humongous companies. And a lot of times when you do get those kind of samples off, they take a lot of the publishing, which means they're making a lot of the money.
Yeah.
So really, there's not a lot to complain about. And my problem is they do that, they clear it, and then they go on like a campaign of, oh, nah, it wasn't good. But you're getting a check. And today, this is what's even more interesting. Today, a song will sample something, and people will go and look for, hey, where does that sample come from?
Yeah.
What is that sampling? Where can I find that? Like TikTok, a lot of older songs go viral because somebody sampled a small piece or sped up a small piece. And now people are like, oh man, yeah, my song is making crazy money because it went viral on TikTok in X amount of videos, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you could benefit today from those kind of samplings, and it will direct traffic back to your original song. So those are all of my thoughts. And I think if you allowed it to be sampled, shut up and take the money, man. I get it. I get why you're going to criticize, but you're also benefiting from it. So I see both sides. Like, personally, I feel like, let people sample and whatever. But my problem is they sample, they clear it, and then they complain. So I see both sides. I could see if somebody sampled one of my songs and I hated the new song, I could see me being like, yeah, it wasn't all that. So I think, final answer, let them sample, and go ahead, man, critique it. Sure, whatever.
Okay. That's fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I guess the reason I even asked the question is because some of them just seem a little grumpy.
Well, that's because all flips are not created equally.
Sure. But it's and you know what, for what it's worth, I think it's okay to say I created my music and I don't want anybody else to touch it. I think that the state that my music is in is fine. And I think I created legendary music. I created great music, and I don't want anyone to touch that because I don't want anyone to ruin what I've created. I think that's okay. I think for me, the challenge comes in when you know that you'll make money off of this and you approve it, and then you got the nerve to go out in public and shit on it.
Right.
Because you could have just not approved it. And
yeah.
But you saw dollar signs, and so you approved it, but then you had the nerve to come out and talk about this person. I think the process should be, or at least I think the process people should follow is, hey, I don't like this, so I'm not going to approve it. That's their prerogative, pun intended. So, yeah, that's why I'm like, Bobby, maybe you did need the money, and that's fine. And I feel like he was pretty honest about it. He said it without saying it. So I'm not mad at that. Like, if that's your reasoning, then fine. But I also kind of feel like y'all are shady for approving and then saying, ugh, that was awful. If you know that you're screening the music, because
Mhm.
there's a difference between I heard it and approved it versus I just approved it. I didn't know what was coming out. Bobby is saying he listens to everything before he approves it, which is like, oh, so what's the point if you're gonna do it for the money anyway?
One of the worst cases I saw of this was years ago. Lupe Fiasco made a song where he sampled a Pete Rock song. And Lupe says, before the song came out, he went and asked Pete Rock permission.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is what I want to sample. This is what we're working with. What do you think? He said, Pete Rock was like, man, I'm honored. Go ahead. And Pete Rock later went on a campaign all over the internet saying, I hate that Lupe Fiasco sampled my song. He didn't even ask my permission. And Lupe was like, come on, son. Yes, I did. Don't do that. And I'll be honest, I think it's because Lupe went absolutely nuts on that beat. And I think he felt overshadowed.
Well, see, that's the other thing. And sometimes you gotta wonder, is it that you didn't like it because it was better than yours? And that might not always be the case. I think that's probably less of the case than normal. But I do believe that sometimes, or or even if it's not necessarily that it was better, but that person profited more
Mm-hmm.
than you did, I could see there being resentment there. I'm not saying that it's the right thing or that it makes sense, but I do see how that could make someone, dislike
Sure.
what they're hearing.
I get it.
Yeah. So, and it's almost an effort to discredit them, and make it seem like, oh, it wasn't that great, even though they
Right.
know deep down inside that,
Shit was fire.
Beyonce was hitting them notes. I'm kidding. I don't even remember. Oh, I do. Ooh, Etta James did not. Anyway, so because it was Beyonce who sang At Last, and Etta James was like, ugh. And sometimes it just makes you wonder, is it like the reach and the popularity that pisses them off? I don't know.